So guys, I want to cry right now, but I'm a G, so I'm not going to be crying. But the worst thing just happened. After recording over an hour for YouTube, for y'all, I realized as me done, that I was recording in portrait mode. And I was talking through the whole video, so I can't even cut it and edit it and turn it into like YouTube shorts or reels or whatever. Why is this here so dry and crusty? So I can't do any of that with the video. So it's pretty much useless, but I think I figured out an idea. And at the end of this, we will see how it works. So guys, unfortunately what I wanted to do is not working out at all. I just have to post the video in portrait mode, so the rest of the video is gonna be an awkward orientation, but I'm gonna just post it. So please bear with me guys, just for this one time. I'm still learning, I'm still getting into YouTube, so be gentle with me, and I still hope y'all get the message. Okay, thanks for watching. Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the channel. Thank you so much for sticking with me, for watching my videos, and for just engaging. I appreciate all the comments, the likes, the shares, y'all messaging me on Instagram about my videos. I absolutely appreciate it, and I just want to share more with y'all. So the last video I did, I just told y'all that I got rebaptized, and I also promised that I would have done a follow-up video just explaining why I made that decision again, and yeah, pretty much the reasoning behind it and what you can expect. There are certain things that's gonna change, while there are certain things that are not necessarily gonna change, and some things are gonna take a little time to change. So we're gonna talk about it. I was gonna do my makeup and then do a separate video to just talk about it, but I decided why not do my makeup while I'm discussing that topic, especially because the makeup is gonna be kind of a sore point for some people. I'm sure a lot of people are gonna be wondering why I'm still using makeup, why I'm still doing my nails, and why I have these in at the moment. Okay, and we are gonna unpack and just talk about it all, okay, from my point of view at least. So stay tuned for that. So I have never done one of these chit chat videos while I'm doing anything like my makeup or my nails or getting ready. So this is kind of a first for me. Not kind of, this is definitely a first for me. So be gentle and lower your expectations, okay? Let me just put that out there before anything else. So when it comes to me staying focused some of the times, let's just see what happens, okay? Yeah, but this is the first step I usually do. I just use this brush. It's an eyebrow brush, to use a very simple word to describe what it is. And what it does is that it just organizes your brows before you start using the pencil or whatever you use on your brows. So you see, it kind of shows me the shape and lets me see what I'm working with. And yeah, that's a very necessary first step. The next step I'm going to be taking is to, I think this evening I'm going to be using this brow kit, and it's from Wonder Brow. It's an eyebrow kit, and there are 3 different colors and consistencies. 2 of them are powders and 1 is a gel. So yeah, I think I'm gonna be using this, or hold on, because normally I use a pencil, but tonight I'm thinking I should use a pomade. Yeah, because I have them and I never use them, so I think I'm gonna be using a pomade. This one is brown, it's from LA Girl. I'm gonna be using that tonight. And this one is also from LA Girl, but it's a soft black color. Okay, so it's in minimal right now. I'm not quite sure which one I'll be using. Alright, so my tea is finally done, so I can sip while I talk to y'all and do my makeup. So let's start by talking about why I made this decision in the first place, right? Because that's most important, okay? But I can't talk about the why without first talking about the background, or where this all began. Because if you are paying attention, you would notice that I used the word rebaptized, or I said again, which means or implies that this is something I've done before. This is not my first rodeo, right? So if you saw that, then kudos to you, bright student. You are correct. I have been baptized before. As a matter of fact, I grew up in the church. I was born in the church, as we like to say, which just means I was born into a Christian family, more specifically a Seventh-day Adventist family. So ever since birth, I've been in the church. I've been going to church since then. But of course, you grow older, you start experiencing life, especially based on the way I grew up. I grew up very sheltered. I grew up very inside, not being exposed to a lot of things that a lot of people are exposed to. Yeah, for the most part, I was just raised in a very sheltered way with very disciplinarian parents who were disciplinarians, which I'm okay with and I'm grateful for the most part. So I just knew church. I knew church and I knew school, and that was that for the better part of my life. But when I grew up and I first moved out of my parents' home, which was a long time ago, um, I started to see different things and I started to experience life a little. So, of course, I would say because I never knew these things before, it kind of caught me off guard, and everything I grew up learning kind of got put on the back burner. And I just started to live my life and to just do what I wanted to do. So, first came these. That was the first. No, lies. First came this. And the background to my nails is I am a very horrible nail biter. So, no matter what I do, no matter what I put on it, what I take, I'm just gonna be biting my nails like there's no tomorrow. And I've tried pretty much everything, but I still end up biting my nails. Okay, yeah, so that's that. And as a result, I've had to just do my nails to prevent myself from biting my actual nails. So I've been doing my nails for a very long time. I kinda don't know myself without nails. I kinda don't know how to act without nails. I don't feel normal without them anymore because I've just been doing them for such a long time. Alright, so yeah, first came these. And that's one of the biggest reasons why I stopped going to church, because while there's nothing specifically in the Bible, according to my studies and my research and my knowledge, and I think, I'm not gonna brag or anything like that, but I think I have a pretty extensive knowledge of the Bible. I read my Bible a lot. As I said, I grew up in church, and to this day there's no pastor, no elder, no church member who has been able to show me a scripture that specifically states that it's wrong to wear nails or makeup or whatever. There are some scriptures which kind of talks about the addition and stuff like that, but if we're gonna go there, there would really be nobody in the church, let's be honest, because if we're gonna take away the nails, we gotta also take away the braids that a lot of people wear and the cream hair that a lot of people wear, more than a lot. Probably the minority in the church doesn't wear these things, but most people wear these things. And before I go any further, I'm gonna also state that this is one of the things that I've disliked about Christians and Seventh-day Adventists. I feel like they have a very judgmental take on the things that they don't do. For example, they cream their hair and they wear braid and they wear false extension and wigs and blah blah. But because they don't wear nails or makeup, they tend to bash and belittle people who wear nails and makeup. And I find that to be very hypocritical. Follow me now. Remember, there's no scripture in the Bible that specifically says you shouldn't be wearing makeup and you shouldn't be wearing nails. Neither is there any scripture that says you shouldn't cream your hair, you shouldn't wear braids, and you shouldn't wear wigs. But if we're going to be using the scripture that speaks to the addition, and I should also assume that since you weren't born with your hair permed, that's an addition. How are we feeling? We're getting warm? Yeah, I think we're getting warm. So it's very annoying to me, and it was even more annoying to me back then when I was kind of young. Not kind of, I was very young. And I didn't know how to really process my feelings and my emotions as I do now. I think I have a better grasp on my emotions and I have a better handle on how I respond to certain things, but it doesn't mean that I've changed my perspective. I still think it's very much hypocritical and it's not something I like, okay? So what I'm doing right now is just using concealer, and the concealer I'm using is a Pro Concealer from LA Girl. I use a lot of LA Girl products, as you've seen and as you will see if you keep watching me, because they are, in comparison to a lot of other products on the market, they are very inexpensive and they give you a bang for your buck, okay? You're definitely gonna get your money's worth when you purchase these things. Now, Christianity, as you know, is the religion. Am I right? Yeah. And the Seventh-day Adventist Church is the denomination. And I'm sure we all have that understanding of the difference between the denomination and the religion. Cool. So I'm a Christian and I'm also a Seventh-day Adventist. Yeah. And I feel like since there is no biblical reproach or any biblical what should I say, anything biblically telling me that I should not be wearing nails and makeup and false hair, that it's a personal conviction. Also the jewelry, because there are scriptures in the Bible that speaks about jewelry, but we're gonna need a Bible study to get down into that, because from my understanding, that scripture is a different conversation as well, and we could talk about that at a later date in another space, but I just don't want this video to be long and drawn out, okay? Because y'all know I love to talk already. But anyways, yeah, so since there's no real biblical grounds for you telling me I shouldn't wear makeup and nails and hair and jewelry, I am taking it that this is one of those Seventh-day Adventist beliefs and principles that I should abide by, right? Which is also fine and understandable, because everywhere you go there are principles that you have to live by and that you have to follow, whether you are in agreement with it or not. And really and truly, the simple fact to that is, if you don't want to follow those rules, I think you should either not join or I don't know any other way to say it, but just not join. if that's making any sense. For example, let's use our homes. Some people, you go to their homes and they're fine with you just wearing your shoes inside. They don't have any problem. They're very accommodating. They're cool with it. They actually tell you it's okay. Don't take your shoes off at the door. It's fine. Come in. That's their home and those are their rules. That's how they run their home. Okay. But at another person's home, I would expect, without me having to tell you, that you should take your shoes off, because in my opinion, that's just basic common sense. That's just manners. And that's my home or somebody else's home, because I know that there are a lot of people out there who may not even say it, but they just expect that you should take your shoes off when entering their homes, right? So again, that's their home and those are their rules. That's just how they run their house. Okay, so if you know that when you come to my home, I expect you to take your shoes off, when you come to my home, simply take off your shoes, are not coming to my house. And if it is that you cannot abide by those simple rules, which are my rules, then you don't come to my home. So I feel like you could use the same I think you could use the same principle when you consider the Seventh-day Adventist rules and principles as opposed to what the Bible says. Okay, yeah, that's good, really good. Lemongrass, aka fever grass, is the chef's kiss, always good. And I'm feeling really cold this evening, so yeah, that was absolutely necessary. So now that I've kind of outlined the bottom of my brows, the next step is to do the same to the top. However, on the top, I know that some people use the same concealer, but for me, in my house, I do not use concealer on the top of my brows. I use the foundation that I'm going to use on the rest of my face. That's just what I do. Okay, yeah, so I'm going to put a little here. I need to get one of the makeup mixing thingies. Yeah, but for now, this is what I have. So this is what I'll be using. Sue me. All right, so yeah, what I'm doing is just to apply to the brush in an angular motion, and then I also apply it to the top of my brows in the same motion. Okay, so where was I? So I was talking about the fact that there are certain rules that I feel like the Seventh-day Adventist upholds or lives by that are not necessarily biblical, and just because they aren't biblically supported does not mean they are wrong and that they should not be followed or adhered to. It just means that there's no biblical support, but these are just principles that the church has come up with. Because one thing I've always known about the Seventh-day Adventist church is that they strive. I can't say they anymore because I'm now again a part of that faith. So we tend to strive to be different. We tend to strive to be different. I just got a message from someone I haven't heard from in a very, very, very long time. So yeah, but we strive to be very different, and we want to be different and be seen differently than the rest of the world. And I vibe with that. Here's why. I honestly don't feel like, as a Christian in general, you should look, act, speak like the rest of the world. I understand that, right? So again, I'm not gonna say that's something that's wrong or it's something I disagree with, because I actually vibe with that. We should be different. We should look different than the world. People should be able to look at you and immediately know that you are a child of God. And if you're looking, acting, speaking, doing the things of the world, people will not be able to separate you and to know that, you're different. So I vibe with that reasoning. But I also feel like many things are going to be left to someone's own personal preference, their conviction, and their understanding of what they read at the end of the day, right? So what I mean by that is, if my interpretation of a scripture is different from yours, that's my interpretation, and for the moment, until I have some additional knowledge and I interpret it in a different way, that's just my worldview. That's just how I see things, and that's how I will operate until my worldview changes. So I don't like to be forced or coerced or pushed to do anything that I don't want to do and that I don't really vibe with, because I'm a vibes person, and I just want to know that when I'm doing something, I fully understand why I'm doing it and I truly believe in doing it, because I'm not going to do something just because that might be your norm and that might be your status quo. No, my status quo might be different, and I'm going to respect that. All right, so with all that preamble aside, I've now done my brows. Later on, they'll get more defined as I do the rest of my face, but these brows are actually banging right now. So I think going forward, I'll be using more of the pomade, because as I said, I've always just used the pencil. But this is absolutely giving what it should give, okay? Yeah. So now that I have done my brows, it's time for me to do my eyeshadow. And this is the part I love the most, because it's gonna define your face. Your eyes is pretty much 90% of the look, the makeup look, the eyes. That's what's gonna define how your face looks and all of that. So yeah, not just the eyeshadow, but the brows, the eyeshadow, the blush, and the under eye, all of that together is, in my opinion, about 85 or 90% of the entire look. All right, so back to what I was saying. I tend to kind of forget my train of thought while I am doing something else, and I told y'all to lower your expectations, so don't fight me. I just don't remember where I was. Okay, so I was saying, I feel like it's hypocritical for someone to judge you for what you are doing just because that's not the sin they're committing. Let's say me wearing nails and makeup is a sin, and you have gained deliverance from that sin, or you never did do it in the first place, but you're doing another sin, but you're feeling so high and mighty and pompous that you want to judge me and belittle me for my sin. The math is not mathing, and I had a real problem with that. So I remember when I came out of the church the first time, and it was definitely because of that and my nails, because them used to do me up, no boy. Them used to do me up, and I had a problem with it because I was like, there are people in here getting pregnant, having kids. We know that you don't get, this was not an immaculate conception. We know what you did to get pregnant. We know what you did. We can clearly see it. And in 9 months or in a couple of months, we're gonna see even more evidence. But these people had all the strength in the world from little old me, in my opinion. You know, this is what my brain was telling me and how I was processing things. I was like, so she over there saw I get pregnant and still up there in a crusade and I take part and I do this and that while we know you're doing the do. And all I was doing at that time, whether y'all believe me or not, was putting on my nails, because I was so innocent. Like, yeah, I was really innocent. Yeah, so I was really offended, and I took it so hard that I just stopped going to church. And I wasn't gonna be a hypocrite about it either. I started going to church after that, and after I started going back to church, I started getting back involved in church, and I was kind of not wearing the nails. So yeah, it was acceptable for me to take part in church again and blah blah. But then I also got involved in a relationship. By this time, I think I was 19. Yeah, I was definitely 19. And I got involved in my first relationship at that time, 18, 19, yeah. And bear in mind, you know, I used to take part in church, like fully. I used to preach at church. I used to be superintendent. I used to just be very active in the church. And it was around the time when they were nominating people to take up positions again, and I remember I just respectfully declined any new positions because I was just getting in a relationship and I started doing the do. So remember now, you know, I'm a good girl, I'm not a hypocrite. I know how Christianity go. I mean, definitely know how church business goes. So me, I'm not gonna be doing like them who are actively doing the do and actively participating in church, and you know, it feels like them clean Jesus shoes. Yeah, I wasn't about to be doing that. So I respectfully declined the positions that were being offered to me, and I left the church again to go live my life. Yeah, I'm not saying this with any form of I feel good about that, but I'm just being honest with y'all, because I'm gonna be honest with y'all, okay? So that's why I left the church the second time. All right, cool. So let's go back to many of the experiences I've had along the way too that made me kind of just very much dislike Christians, and not so much Christians as Seventh-day Adventists. Like, some of the worst people in the world, again, we're just being honest. And I have to be honest with y'all, because you see, at the end of this video, you're gonna make your decision based on the truth and not based on any fabrications. You're gonna think what you think based on the truth and not anything that's fluffed up and whatever. So, quite honestly, some of the worst people in the world that I've encountered are Christians, and more specifically Seventh-day Adventists. Woo, Lord, take the wheel. I kid you not. Some of the worst experiences I've had are with people who proclaim Christianity and who get up and go to church every Sabbath. It's truly sad. It's very sad, but it's a fact. And that's just my experience. So, what are you gonna do? Are you going to say, oh, that's not the truth? That's been my experience, and I'm just telling you my experience, okay? So yeah, I've encountered some really horrible people who go to church. And that kind of, I remember while I was in school at NCU, and I had one of the worst experiences I've ever had with a Seventh-day Adventist pastor and his wife. And to this day, sometimes I think about it and I just wonder, them people are really looking at themselves and assess themselves. Like, yeah, I look into it, and there are so many other experiences, like some things that they're doing that just push me further away from the church than I should be, and than I want to be. And that's no excuse, because at the end of the day, really and truly, I can't go say to God, say, God, as such man and his wife, or such somebody me never did go to church, or me lose my way. That's no excuse. I can't go and tell the Lord that. So I had to really look into myself and decide to go back so that I can repair my relationship with the Lord for myself. All right? Yeah. So that's another part of the story, that even though I experienced these things with these people, I had to just come to the realization that they are not God. They should be representatives of God, but they are human and they're prone to error. And so in that moment, they might not have seen the error of their ways, but that's not gonna cut it for me to go tell God, say, because of them error make me lose my way, right? Yeah. So when I decided to come back, Cameron came into my life, of course. Big up Cameron every time, because that kid is just super everything. But yeah, Cameron came on the scene a few years ago, 6 years ago, almost 7. And since he came on the scene, I pretty much had an idea of how I wanted to raise him. And that idea defined how I lived my life ever since I became a mother in every aspect. So the people I dated, the places I go, the people I hang with, the people I invite to my home, everything has changed. My outlook on all these things have changed since I became his mother, because I just knew that I wanted to kind of live a more chill life. Yeah, a more chill life. I think that's the best way to put it. Yeah. Diagodom. Right, so let's just say Cameron is one of the biggest reasons why I made this decision, because ever since my mom moved in and has been living with me, Cameron has pretty much been going to church like almost every Sabbath, or very, very, very regularly. But I noticed every time he goes to church, he always asks me if I'm gonna come the next Sabbath or why I don't come to church with him. And I always make the lamest excuses like, I just don't feel like it, or this or that, and blah blah blah. And I just got tired of the excuses, and I realized that that wasn't gonna cut it anymore. And also, one thing that helped me make this decision is because I thought about some people I know, some adults I know, who kind of used to send their kids to church without them the adults. So they used to send the kids to church in the company of other responsible adults, of course, and they were fine. Not that anything happened to the kids, but this part of the story is about how I knew that sending your kids to church is not enough. You need to take them to church. And after these kids grow up, they observe all these years that their parents don't go to church, they just send them. So after a while, it's like the kids think, mommy and daddy don't go to church, so it's not a necessity for me to go. So when the world comes at them now and they start experiencing things and stuff like that, then they very quickly drop out of the church and stop going too, because if it's not important, like everything is falling down. But yeah, eyelash time. So you see what I did? On the outer corners of my eye, I used a dark shade, and in this case I used a dark red on both outer corners, and then under the red I used a burnt orange. Yeah, you might not be able to see it, but when it's blended, it kind of gives it a little, I love the look that it gives me. I don't know how to explain it. And then on the inner corner, I used a lighter shade, which is in this case a yellow. I've never used a yellow before, but I absolutely love how it brightens my face. So yeah, that's what I did. I'm not finished yet because I'm gonna highlight this area soon, but for now, that's what it's gonna be looking like just for now. Alright, so I always notice that the kids tend to drop out of the church, and then after the kids drop out of the church is when the parents now finally decide to find God and get back into the church, but now their kids are outside. And it bothered me. A lot of things bother me, but that bothers me a lot, because I don't feel like you ever want, as a parent, especially if you know about the Bible and know about God and His second coming and stuff like that, I always wonder, what is it going to be like if I enter the kingdom and my child is outside? Or if my child enters the kingdom and I'm outside looking in? It's going to be a very, very hard thing to deal with. It's not going to be a pretty sight and a beautiful experience. Some of us are going to be shedding tears when we see our loved ones out there, and especially my child, I want to be a part of him getting to heaven, and I also want to be in heaven with him, right? So that's very important to me, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I decided to go back. Now, what does going back mean? It means what you see is what you get, pretty much. I'm being very honest with myself, and I want to take part in the church. I want to go back to taking part in the church, and I've already kind of sort of started, because the church does or gets you involved by asking you to do stuff, and gradually you get more and more involved, which is what's happening with me right now. But at the same time, I'm being honest with myself with the fact that I'm not where I need to be as yet, and I'm still gonna be doing my makeup. I'm not gonna be wearing it to church, obviously, because like I said, I feel like there are some church rules that are not necessarily biblically supported, but because they are church rules, I follow them when I'm going to church. So it's very, very, very unlikely that you would see me wearing makeup to church. Yeah, so that's definitely something. And I've never worn makeup to church. I can't ever recall ever putting on makeup to go to church. I just think that doesn't make any sense. Yeah, I'll go to church as natural and barefaced as possible. Also, I wouldn't wear my nails, not my nails, I wear my nails to church, but I try to be very subtle with my nails, with the way I wear them. So I wear subtle colors like nudes and stuff like that, and I wear it short. So I still do my nails, because part of what I do now is content creation, of course. Here I am. So as a result of that, part of the content I create is my nails and my makeup and stuff like that. So obviously I'm still going to be doing my nails, and I still need to do it because I'm still a nail biter. But I tone it down for church all the way down, and I wear new colors. Saturday I went to church and I wore my nails natural. I didn't put on any color or anything like that. But Sunday I polished my nails like this. I'm not quite sure if I'll wear this to church, and if I do, I won't do anything in church, but I doubt it that I would wear this to church. I'm not sure as yet. I'm thinking about it. Yeah. So yeah, I wouldn't say I'm fragile at this stage. And when I say fragile, I'm talking about if somebody, the way I reacted back then when they criticized me for wearing my nails and all of that good stuff. I feel like I'm beyond that at this point, where that's not something that would make me not go to church again or give up on the church again. Yeah, I don't think that would make me give up on the church. Yeah, I don't think so. So what I'm about to do now is my lashes, and I'm using this glue, which is the basic hair glue, the Salon Pro exclusive hair bonding glue. That's the only glue I've ever used on my lashes. I don't use anything else, okay? So what I'm doing is I'm just using this metal thingy. I don't know what it is. I don't even remember where I got it from. Yeah, I think I got it in a brush set or something. I'm not sure. And I'm just applying it to the lash. And I only use strip lashes for now, at least, and for the foreseeable future. So I applied to the lash, and before I did that, if you remember, also I used mascara to lift my natural lashes. That just prepares your natural lashes to receive the fake lash. Yeah, so that they will blend together evenly and there will be no separation. That's very important in the lash process. A lot of people struggle with this because they don't do their natural eyelashes like that first. Yeah, so now I'm gonna just hold the mirror down and let it get tacky a little. This is supposed to go on this side. So just let it get a little tacky, not so dry, but a little tacky. And then I'm gonna apply by looking down into the glass. Oh crap, I missed a very important step. I think I missed a very important step. I need to do my, hold on. Yes, I need to do my lining. I need to line my lash. I know this is not too dry now. Yeah, let's keep it out. Absolutely perfect. Perfect. It's giving exactly what it should give. And now I'm going to be using this, which is a tweezer. So just clamp it to seal my natural lashes. Yeah, but a lot of people mess up here as well because they don't look down in the mirror, okay? And that's a must. You have to do that. There's no way around it. When you're doing your own lash, you have to look down. Yeah. There's a loose lash here. So while I am waiting for this one to get tacky, I just thought about the fact that adding to what I was saying is the fact that everybody struggles with something and you have to be honest with yourself. I feel like when you're going to God, the most important thing is self-awareness and honesty. Because he knows what you're struggling with. So why are you gonna hide it for? For whose purpose? To please who? But should that necessarily stop you from going to God? I don't think so. So while I'm still struggling with wanting to wear makeup, wanting to wear my jewelry, still doing my nails, I'm not gonna allow that to stop me from going into the church because that's really home and that's where I should be. So yeah, I feel like everybody struggles with something. For some people, a man, like they might be living with a man that they're not married to, and the church stands on that, and yeah, all kind of things. For me, I'm not struggling with that, to be honest, because I just don't see men. I don't. Y'all saw the previous video or 2 videos ago, so that's not my issue right now. But for somebody else, that might be their issue. Should that stop you from going to God, or should you honestly let God know that this is your area of struggle, but that you're gonna go to Him and allow Him to clean you up the way you should be cleaned? Because I can't do that myself, So yeah, let's do the other side. Look down. And the lining of the eye. The purpose of lining before you put on the lash is very important because it also helps you with the placement of the lash so that you place it perfectly where it needs to be. Without the line, you might put it elsewhere. So yeah, that's very important. And now we clamp. You're just feeling for your natural lash and clamping the fake one down on it, okay? I think that should be pretty easy, but I remember when I was just starting out doing lash, I was so intimidated. It was so hard, and I kept wanting to give up. I never thought I would ever get to this stage, but with me, everything, I'm gonna keep trying until I get it. You know what? This one should actually go over here, These are used lashes that I've used already, but I'm waiting on some more to come because the ones I have currently are very thin. I don't know why I bought them in the first place, but I no longer like thin lashes, so I'm gonna be re-wearing this one until the cows come home. Sue me. Yeah, I'm not gonna just sue me. Yeah, so that's that on that. And because it should be over here, the placement, you might notice, is a little different because the lower side should be in the inner corner and the higher side should be on the outer corner. So for this one, it's kind of the opposite because it should have been over this side. But we move. I'm not going to take it off. Yeah. Sue me. I'm not say that again for the rest of the video, okay? That's annoying, I know. So yeah, everybody struggles with something. Be honest about what you are struggling with. Ask God to help you, but don't let that be your reason for not going into the church. Even if you go in and you just say, you know, respectfully, I won't be taking any part in the church because I respect and understand that according to your principles and your beliefs, you don't believe in makeup and hair and nails and this, so I can't take any part right now. But I'm working on it, and I'm working with God. So until then, yeah, I think that's a conversation you can also have. So next step is now the moisturizing step. The reason why I waited until now to do it is because it's pretty hard to get your brows and your eye done properly when it's slipping all over the place, right? So I'm gonna moisturize now, and then I'm gonna add my primer and all of the good stuff. But if you notice, I only place it in the areas that I didn't put any of the product in. So up here where I put foundation, I'm not gonna bother to moisturize up there. I'm just moisturizing the other areas of my face. Do it however you feel comfortable. Some people moisturize before, but I literally cannot work with my face feeling like it's slipping all over the place. So I wait until after I have done my eyes before I do this. Now that the moisturizer is on, you can definitely see the sheen in my face. It's no longer looking dry. It's not getting dry anymore. And now it's time for me to use my primer. And this is just a basic drugstore primer from GLAM. GLAM is located in Mandeville. I don't really like a lot of their products, but it's one of the only stores in Mandeville apart from Fontana, and y'all know Fontana is very expensive, so sometimes I try to avoid having to go to Fontana. But I don't think GLAM's products are really GLAM's products, you know. I think they take other people's products and then slap their label on it. That's just my opinion. Yeah, allegedly. Yeah, so that's their primer, according to them at least, and it does the job. And especially because I'm not going anywhere right now, I don't really need to put on another primer, because I have a lot of other primers, but that's not necessary right now because I'm not going anywhere. I'm just doing this video for the video's sake, you know. Yeah, so the primer is on. You can see my face is coming together, and then the next step we're gonna take is to color correct. Color correcting is very important for the areas of your face that are discolored and that are not like the rest of your face. So if you notice here, I have some discoloration here in this area. It's darker, and as you can see, the rest of my face is lighter. Same thing over here. The discoloration is pretty much in the same areas. I also like to color correct the sides of my lips, the sides of my nose, and anywhere you see any dark spots or any discoloration. I have a lot of different colors, but today I'll be using the orange one. You just need to get one that blends into your complexion, and you will be fine. I'm putting it under my eye because, as you can see, I have a lot of dark spots under my eye. I just don't get enough sleep, so yeah, I have a lot of dark spots. That's a lot of color corrector, by the way. I shouldn't even have used so much, but I got carried away. So yeah, I don't know what else to say. Oh yeah, let's talk about what else is gonna change. Now, really and truly, the way I've always lived my life means that there's not a lot about my life that needs to change now that I've decided to walk with Christ again. And if you notice, I said walk with Christ because that's the main aim here, okay? Yeah, to walk with Christ. So I don't really do a lot of worldly things in the first place. This is a lot of color corrector. Yeah, I'm gonna make my hand rule me. But anyways, we're gonna blend it out before we do anything else. So as I was saying, I don't typically live my life in such a way that making this decision seems like a big decision. It's not a big decision, you know, like when you see some artists just out of the blue decide that they're gonna get baptized and they're gonna now become Christians. It seems a bit wild because just yesterday them did a sing day, whatever. And this is not to judge anybody in any way, so please do not. Well, listen, if y'all wanna misconstrue what I'm saying, that's a personal problem, but yeah, I hope you can understand what I'm saying. So it's not in any way to judge anybody, but it's just an observation. It's harder for you to grasp that this person is now turning a new leaf and deciding to just go in on the church. And I've seen it so many times, and yeah, we're human. We're gonna really wonder, is this real? Is it a joke? Is it for a music video? What is it, you know? So yeah, but for me, I don't think it's such a wild decision or such a wild change in my life, because I'm pretty much a simple person. I've always been a simple person. I live a simple life for the most part. I'm a minimalistic person. I just chill, and I will go out here and there. A lot of people always tell me, say, you need to go out more because, you know, especially to meet people and blah, blah, blah. But I'm just a person. When I do go out, because back in the day, baby, when I talk about going out, my friends could tell you, and I still have most of the same friends that I had back then, but they could tell you, we used to go out Friday nights, Saturday nights, Sunday nights, rinse, repeat the next week. That was our life back then. We used to outside. You know what I'm talking about outside? We used to outside, right? But that changed a long time ago, even before I had Cameron. So yeah, that has not been my life for a very long time. So now my face is looking a bit like a pumpkin right now, but you can see that it's looking more blended. You're not seeing the dark spots. So when we add the foundation, it's all gonna blend together. Okay, yeah, that's the purpose of this. But you don't want to add your foundation to your face with black areas because the foundation cannot cover that. It's not gonna, unless I think I'm gonna get some cream foundation soon, some of the cream ones as opposed, because these days I only use liquid foundation, but I'm gonna get some cream foundation soon, and I'm gonna test out the coverage and see if it gives better coverage. But for now, yeah, so my face is looking more uniform now, and next process is for us to add the foundation. So like I was saying, and before I go further, I'm using this Maybelline Dream Satin Liquid foundation. This is a warm beige number 41, and I'm also mixing it with a Maybelline Fit Me foundation. This is number 340 cappuccino, whatever. And I'm gonna be mixing them once again. I'm gonna a mixing bar, whatever you want to call that, but yeah, this is what I have for now. So this is what I'm gonna be using. This is a bit too much, and then I just add. So these are two different shades, one is darker and one is a little lighter. I mix them together and apply it to my face. Yeah, just like that, so it's not wild that I decided to do this, because my lifestyle before wasn't really one of those outgoing lifestyles where I'm outside every single weekend, I'm turning up. That's just not my kind of thing. When I do go out, I just typically go to dinner. Sometimes, to be honest, I might end up at a party after dinner, but it's nothing over the top, nothing too wild. Yeah, just dinner, and then we might end up at a little party, and I don't do that a lot. So I can't say that's gonna change, because that wasn't my norm prior to me making this decision, right? But where it concerns alcohol, that's also something that I worked on before I made this decision too, because I was very much on the verge of becoming an alcoholic. Like those who know, that's I was this close to being an alcoholic, to being an addict. So yeah, I talked to God about that prior, and I worked on it. I was a wine girl, by the way. I just used to drink a lot of wine. Sometimes I done one bottle of wine, or 2 bottles in one night just by myself. So I feel like maybe for somebody else that's not a lot, but for me that's a lot. So before I got baptized this last time, I cut down significantly or drastically on my alcohol consumption, for health reasons and just for my sanity, and so that I don't become addicted to drinking. Okay, so I worked on that before. I'm not saying I'm fully over drinking, because before I got baptized, I think the last time I drank was early this year when I did one of my videos. Yeah, I was drinking in that video. So here and there I might take a little, but now that I am baptized again, I think that's something that will change, because I don't think I'll be doing that at all anymore. Yeah. Fingers crossed. I'm really doubtful that I will be drinking anything like that. Okay, yeah, so I guess we could say that's gonna change. And if I do go out to dinner, y'all are not gonna be seeing me in any parties. It's just gonna be dinner and yeah, vibing to little music in the restaurant, and then back of my yard. So yeah, I've always been vanilla, and now I'm gonna be vanilla. Oh yeah, so I guess that's that on that. And you can see now my foundation is absolutely coming through. You can't tell me nothing. You cannot tell me anything. My foundation is coming through as it should, and I absolutely love that for me. I also work concern relationship. As I keep saying, that's not really a concern to me right now, because I'm just not focused on that. It's just not on my radar at the moment. But there's something along that line that I've always never subscribed to, where the church is concerned. Because the church, I don't think this is just unique to Seventh-day Adventists, but I think Christians on a whole believe in the whole sex after marriage thingy, and I never used to subscribe to that, because I always used to say, me nah married, no pussy in a bag. And yeah, they even extended it to the fact that you couldn't live with someone you're dating until you're married, and I couldn't see through that, because I couldn't understand why I should just, I'm always saying, and come live with me are 2 different things, and that's facts. Like, why would I want to just take up myself and never live with man, or never married man when we never live with? I don't know how he takes care of his home. And that was something I was very passionate about, because no matter how you think someone is, you don't know what they're like until you live with them. No matter what you tell me, I'm never gonna accept that people you observe. And then they used to talk about, like, you can visit the person and whatever, and I was like, that doesn't make any sense either. You know that if you're going to visit somebody, the person knows you're coming to visit. Obviously, even if they're the nastiest speaking in the world, it's much more likely that they will clean up, considering that they're expecting you, right? And when you're gone, they'll become a pig again, because that's just them innately. So I never subscribed to that notion at all. I also never subscribed to the unequal yoke thing, because I just felt like people were people. And as I said, because I've had so many shit experiences with Christians and Seventh-day Adventists, to be more sometimes I triple over myself, to be more specific, I felt like people are people, and if you find a good man, whether he's in the church or not, then a good man is a good man. But later on, more recently, I have been doing some introspection, and while there are dirty, nasty, despicable men in the church, there are more dirty, nasty, despicable men outside the church. That's just a fact. And outside of their personality and their behavior, what's most important to me these days is unity. And I feel like marriage and relationships calls for you to be one. You need to be one with your partner. You can eat pork and me have to cook the pork gear at Sunday time, knowing say me not eat pork and I don't want my kids to eat pork. That means even if it's not cooking at the house, which might be a problem in the first place because now it leads you to having to go outside the house to go get the pork. But when I'm not around, you might sneak peek give a child. So that would be a difference in how we see things and how we raise kids. Let's say I'm a Christian and me I go to church every Sabbath and you don't go to church at all. This means I can't have any conversations with you because you're pretty much not interested in anything church related. And so, what am I going to be talking to you about? Oh, the pastor preached about this today. Yeah, you're going to be probably listening to be respectful, but not to really understand or hear anything. So, unity is very important. And I only recently saw that aspect of it. Like, especially, as I tell you, I'm a mother before anything. And I feel like that has shaped my worldview so much based on just how I want my child to be raised. And I can't bother with the confusion and the one this, one that. Imagine if you even go to church, but you go to church on Sunday and I go on Saturday. What are we going to be doing with the kids? Telling them, oh, you don't have to go to church if you don't want to. That's just not my worldview. Or you can go Sunday or Saturday, whichever you feel like. Or should we tell them to go both days? It makes absolutely no sense. So yeah, that's one of the things that I struggled with accepting, that I'm now accepting of, because I've seen the light with that. Where the sex is concerned, I've also seen the light with that because I feel like, to be quite honest with you, a man who wants to settle down and be serious with you shouldn't be so captivated in the first place by your body that he has to go to bed with you before he can make a decision about you. And if a relationship is built on sex, when sex is no longer in the picture, the relationship is dead. And that's facts. That's facts, legit. Because when I think back on my previous relationship, I feel like we use that, not just me but the other person in the relationship, use that as our way of solving every problem. Like, yeah, I think I'm gonna block my mother from watching this video. Listen, I think about it, but there are certain things I just still feel cringe about talking, considering that my mother might just listen to it. And my mother watch all of my videos because y'all see her in the comments. Like, that's my number one supporter. Shout out to you, mommy. But it don't even make no sense to tell her shout out to you in that video. I mean, for sure I'm gonna block you. If my mother see this, I'm somebody sure. And whoever sure, God shall deal with you. Yeah. So I delete YouTube, have a mother phone. And no, I can't delete YouTube. Is there a way to like block one person from seeing your stuff like on YouTube? I need to figure that out expeditiously because I cannot. Yeah. So I gotta figure that out. But anyways, yeah, on a more serious note now, what I'm doing right now is to highlight and contour. You notice that I use, and this is the first step of the highlight and contour process, because what I'm doing, I'm using the concealer, so I use the lighter shade, and this is one shade lighter than my skin tone. Some people are now starting to use lighter colors, so you can use as light as you desire if you want these areas to pop, because that's the purpose of the highlighting colors, is to pop these areas and to make the glow more obvious. So if you want to use a lighter color here, do it at your own discretion. And then I use a darker color. Again, these are Pro concealers from LA Girl. I use a darker color along my right as so. Right as so, okay? Yes. And I do the same thing over here. And then I use the lighter color again alongside my cheekbones or my jaw. Yeah, and then on my cheekbones, you'll notice that I go like this and then down, because I have a double chin. So when I do that, it removes the double chin. Okay, yeah. Now it's time to blend this out. But before we do so, don't forget. So let me do the right thing. You can use this one. This one is good, even though it's a primer spray. But if you have a setting spray, which you should have, you use it to spray all over your face. Yeah, and that's to kind of set the look before you blend. Alright, so now that I've done that, I'm now going to be blending everything together. You can use a blending brush, a blending sponge, like a beauty blender, or what else can you use? Whatever you have. You can use one of those triangular sponges, whatever works best. I've been doing this for a while, so I kind of know how to blend with the brush, but yeah, people feel more comfortable blending with the sponges or whatever. So I'm just dumping this also with the spray, yeah, to kind of just allow it to melt into the skin. Okay, and if you have a beauty blender, you will work better with the beauty blender if it is damp. Okay, yeah, if the beauty blender is damp, it works better that way. So we were talking about the part about about sex. So pretty much, if you want to build something lasting, and if you want to know if something is real, remove sex from the equation, and that's how you will figure it out, because sex distorts it's for sure gonna distort your thinking, and your ability to see what's going on, okay? Because we all know what that does, and yeah, we all know what that does, and it makes the best, most intelligent people act stupidly, okay? And accept certain things you shouldn't accept, and do certain things you should never do. So if you want to know if something is lasting, remove sex from the equation. Plus, these men nowadays, like a large percentage of men these days, I realize, are not built or are not looking for a relationship. They're looking for a good time, and as a result, it's just not gonna work out. You must protect your integrity and protect yourself, and be very careful. So I'm just blending right now, blending because we want everything to look uniformed. I'm gonna use the Sasha palette to add some definition, because pretty much right now my face is still looking all the same color, and that's not what I'm going for. Oh, I almost forgot. Before I do that, I'm gonna use some powder, and this is a compact powder. I'm gonna use it in all the areas that I had used the concealer. That's a clear concealer.
Anywhere that you highlighted, you use the powder. I see some people using it all over their face, but not me. I just like to use it in the areas that I had highlighted. So under my eyes, and this is definitely changing the color already. Yeah, so I think that's it where it concerns the things that are going to be changing. Yeah, I can't think of anything else right now because I'm just really naturally a chill person, and I don't really do too much naturally. So I wouldn't say it's a big change for me, or that it's off brand or it's off whatever. It's just, it needed to happen. It's important, really and truly. The long and short of it is, no matter what you're doing, no matter where you are in life, you need God. That's just the long and short of it. And you can't hide from it, you can't go around it. That's just that. Right? You're going to need God. And no matter what you're doing, you need to acknowledge that, because He's the creator. And that's just that, okay? And I decided that it's better to do it now than to wait until it is too late, because sometimes, you know, we're out there, we do what we want to do, because we're big people and we can make our own decisions. And so the decisions that we make run us into a wreck, and we don't even notice it, because we just want to have it one way and do what we want to do, and we don't want to have to answer to anybody and account for anything that we're doing. But if I've learned anything in life, it's that you cannot outrun God, and you cannot outrun just doing the right thing. You have to just do the right thing. I don't know any other way to say it. Yeah, that's just that. I used the cream contour stick a while ago, and now I'm using the Sasha palette as I have mentioned. I'm going to use a darker shade to go back over those areas. See? Because I want you to be able to see the different colors and the definition in my face. So if you're not seeing the dark areas different from the light areas, then you have a problem. You need to see that when you're contouring.
Then now I'm going back in with a lighter shade, one of these lighter shades for the areas that I had highlighted. Yeah, I'm going in with a lighter shade. Should I use another thing you are not gonna expect from me is this drastic Christian change. You know, some people, as soon as they start going to church or whatever, them just out of the blue start flooding the timeline and whatever with the whole Christianity and all of that. I'm still working on myself. I'm still allowing myself to be worked on by the Lord, and I'm not gonna be a hypocrite either. And so you're not gonna see me for now. I'm not gonna use this blush. Never mind, because these are the 3 blush colors, and I don't want that tonight. I've been saying I wanted to use one of my lipsticks, so let me see which one I should use. Yeah, I'm a lip gloss girl. If you haven't noticed, then now you know. But yeah, that's just my personality. So I'm not gonna be on the timeline or on the feed or wherever with all the little scriptures out of the blue. But here and there I'll post a little reading, because I'm reading a lot more these days, more Christian content these days. And yeah, oh, I can't believe I forgot to talk about this, because I think this has been one of my biggest struggles, dancehall music. Jesus. Whew. And oh my god, I still have not fully severed ties as yet with that genre of music, but I'm getting there. And it's just hard, I have to be honest with you, because every time I give up on dancehall music, Shensia and Massacre drop a song, and I'm just in a chokehold all over again. Yeah, so that's a real life struggle that I'm going through. But I used to, and I curse a lot. I used to curse a lot of late. Like, I don't know where I got that from or how. It's like I never could do that as a child. So now I just use a curse word. a lot, but I've also stopped doing that as well. Or yeah, I don't think I've been doing that recently. A lot of things with me, you see, it's not hard for me to kick. A lot of my habits are not hard for me to kick, and they'll never be hard for me to kick. You know why? I don't allow myself to be tied to certain things and to certain habits. There are some that are very hard, like as I mentioned, the music. Because music is very, very catchy, and it's just one of those things that's easy to hold you hostage. Not referencing alkaline right now, but yeah. Yeah, it's one of those things for me. But other things like the drinking and the parties and those kind of stuff, those things are not hard for me to kick, because just based on my personality, yeah, it's not hard for me to kick those habits. But I'm working on it, and I say I'm working on it a lot, but really and truly the Lord is working on it, and I'm working with him, or I'm asking him to be patient with me while I work on those things that I know I need to work on. Okay, yeah, so that's what's going on right now with me. But the music, oh my gosh, yeah. So online, if you follow me on IG, which I suppose you do, you'd notice that, as I said, I cuss a lot sometimes. And when I say I cuss, I not like I cuss with people, you know, like I just use some language sometimes that's not becoming. It's not very becoming, and that's definitely something that I will be working on, that I've already started working on, and I feel like I'm doing a good job so far. I feel like I'm doing good so far, at least in my opinion. So we are almost through. I'm just now going to finish up this look and tie everything together with my under eyes. I'm going to highlight with highlighting color, and I'm going to do my lips. And like I said, I'm not a lipstick girly. I've observed I am a lip gloss girly. Yeah, so that's noted. This thing's online. Yeah. To know about me is that I strive to be very authentic. I try to be very down to earth and to be myself in every situation. And what that means is that I'm not gonna ever be one of those persons to lie about what's happening, lie about or pretend or any of that. I'm gonna show up as who I am authentically. And if that doesn't fit into your box and it doesn't gel with your idea of who I am or who I should be, I just have to respectfully say, I'm sorry, but I can't do nothing about that. Like, that's a you problem, you know? Yeah, that's just a you problem. I always put a bright color on my inner eye. This is a yellow I'm using right now. And I can't explain, but it does something. Not even something, it does a lot to the look, for the look. So yeah, I'm always using a bright color, but today I'm using yellow.
But this is now the end of the video, guys, and I absolutely appreciate you staying to the end. If you stay to the end and watching, thank you, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye. Remember to check out my IG also for the pictures.
Alright, so I was saying I'm gonna always show up authentically, and I'm gonna be myself in every situation, and I'm gonna just be honest about where I am, how I'm feeling, what I like, what I don't like. That's just how I know. That's just what I know, and I can only give you what I know. This look should be going somewhere. It's illegal to look this good and not be going anywhere. Like, ugh. Yeah. So most importantly, you should know that at the end of the day, my relationship with God trumps my relationship with the church and my desire to be in the church. And yes, I am aware of the fact that the church itself is also an important aspect of your walk and your relationship. But at any point, I feel like the church is draining me, I'm a go. I'm just being honest, because it's not easy to change things. It's not easy to change things as one person. It's not easy at all. And if I see that there are certain things that I don't gel with and I don't vibe with, and I feel like that would affect my relationship with God, I'm a bounce. I have to be real with y'all and just let y'all know that that's what's up. And that's always how I've seen things. That has never changed, and I don't think, at least not for the foreseeable future, that has not changed, because I feel like I just feel like that's important to me, that I remain authentic, that I'm honest with myself. Yeah, and that's very important to me. So I hope that's not gonna happen, but if it does, peace. That's all I can say. Peace. Like, what can I do? What can I really do though? you know. And this doesn't mean that I'm operating on a 1 foot in, 1 foot out basis. It just means that I'm very aware of what my expectations are and where my boundaries are. And if those are not met, or if those are crossed, it's just a wrap. But I'm giving it my all, and I'm just hoping everything will work out. Yeah, I'm really hoping everything will work out. And that's how the cookie crumbles. Yeah. So I think this was a very enlightening conversation, and I hope you learned some more about me in this course, and I hope it was helpful also when it concerns making the decision of whether to do that or not. And I would always say to somebody, you know, don't be stubborn. Don't just harden your heart and say, oh, I'll never do this because of that. If it's because of a person that's making the decision hard for you, then think about the fact that that's just not an excuse you can give to God. You can't sit and say, oh, John Brown or Mary Jane did this, and that's why I didn't make that decision and I didn't go into the church or whatever, because you just can't give that excuse. It's not valid, you know. But I also encourage everyone to seek to build your personal relationship with God. That's very important, and yeah, that's just very, very, very important.